What's I don't know what that is. Social. I get pretty social myself. Well, I got a buddy out in the back there. Harry is his name, and every couple of weeks there, he's out cutting the grass, and we chew the fat, as they say. Just over the fence kind of thing. Talk about the price of gas and the price of bread, and where the country's heading. Well, be darned if I know, though. But social media, I don't use that. I don't know what is the book Facebook. Oh no, I don't use that. Roland, what book did you have in front of you there? Oh, this is the old Atlas. There, actually, it's not too old. It's Atlas of Ontario. There, I used to do a lot of driving up north, kind of thing. Back in my younger days, and don't do too much anymore, though. But I like to keep it around because when you don't travel, a map's kind of a nice thing. You just flip through it, and you can travel in your mind, kind of thing. And yeah, I like that. But as I say, I don't do too much driving these days. It's my vision's not so good, and I can't sit for too long in the seat there. They're not the comfiest seats. But getting to be a little bit of an old man there. Unlike you, there, you're a young pup. What kind of car do you drive there, Roland? Well, out in the garage there, I got the old Cutlass. I've been driving that for close on 35 years now. It runs pretty good, but I don't go on the on any of those big highways, like 401, 402. No, is that a thing? You mean the 403? 403, yeah, and all of that stuff I don't go on. Occasionally, I go on Highway 17, and it's just a two-lane area there. That's kind of nice. And if they're having a fish fry somewhere, up north a little bit, I like to go out for that. But not when it's dark, certainly. And yeah, I just stick close to the road. When I was a young pup, man, I had my share of speeding tickets there. You can be sure of that. But the old girl there in the driveway there, the garage, she doesn't go too fast anymore. I couldn't push old Cutlass for a speeding ticket if my life depended on it. So yeah, I just keep her there for show, more or less, and take it on the spin. I go to the mall. Well, before this whole pandemic thing, I used to go there every week. There, I'd meet with my buddy Morris, and we'd grab a coffee and sometimes a muffin, and I gotta watch them greasy foods though, So most of the time, just grab a coffee and talk, just talk, Sometimes take a deck of cards there. Oh, Roland, is that a deck of cards in your shirt pocket there? Oh, this, you mean? This? No. Oh, no. No, this is just an old, what do they call them? The pocket protectors. I like to keep my pen handy. I like to write, sometimes I get an idea and, remember something I gotta get at the store. And so I keep it. I don't have paper in here, mind you. That's kind of a stupid thing, but no, this is just one of those old pen protectors, because you can get some nasty ink spills there. This old shirt is dark enough in color, wouldn't matter really, if the ink leaked. But I got that's just force of habit there. I don't think I've ever seen one of those before, Roland. I bet those are a collector's item. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll leave it to you after I die. How's that? Yeah. So, Roland, tell me about your previous your younger years. You're retired now. And do you have children? Were you married? What did you do in your younger years? What was your career? Oh well, yeah, I've been retired now. Going on, gosh, I don't know, 20, 25 maybe years, and that's just before I got the divorce from Jane. That's those were a lot of years there, and they started out well enough, but then things go their own way, and these women like to exercise their freedom, and there's only so much you can do. I mean, I couldn't hold her in the house or anything, but she's a nice enough gal, and we've lost contact. But yeah, we were married for, I don't know, maybe 30 years or so. We were a little long in the tooth, as they say, when we got hitched. But there's some nice years. But going back in the day, yeah, I used to work in the shoestring business, and you may laugh at that now, but those were everyone's got shoes, everyone needs to wear shoes, and 75% of the shoes got laces in them, so that was a pretty secure, as they say, line of work. And I grew up in the Depression, in the 30s, and it's just this little small town in northern Ontario, and my parents came from modest means, and they instilled good life lessons in us, and respect your elders, and don't let anything go to waste. When I see people down the street here, and they got perfectly good furniture there, on the curb, and they're throwing this out and that out, and I mean, you hear about the food being thrown out, and it's still good, and you got people starving, and just people in my generation, we just can't do that. We gotta use things up. So the mindset there in the beginning of my early years was one of respect, and not let anything go to waste, and so that carried me through, and I'm pretty modest. I've been modest with the things I have. I've never taken major trips, but yeah, that shoestring business, I think I started there, in 1954, 55 or so, and those were those were exciting times. Canada was out of the war, and there were a lot of kids being born there in that baby boom thing they call it now. Those boomers are now getting up in years, eh? Well, but yeah. So I saw a listing there in the paper, the local rag, and talked about they needed some folks to secure sales for shoelaces, and I jumped at the chance. We still didn't have a lot of money, even though it was the 50s already, and by all standards things were going pretty well. But yeah, I surprised myself there with I just seemed to have a knack for talking to people, and just like down wholesome, salt to the earth kind of people. And but then my line of work took me down to Hogtown, as they call it, to Toronto, and boy, that would have been in the mid '60s or so. And yeah, I was making a lot of sales there. All the different shoe stores, and department stores, and even like shoemakers, and used clothing stores, and it was a good line of work there. So that brought me out of my little hometown there, and made a lot of sales, did well. I came to meet a buddy of mine there. Geez, what was his name? Barry, that was his. Yeah, I can't remember his last name. He was a good chap, and yeah, Barry was in finances, some path of finance. He was doing well. He was on Bay Street. And Barry, yeah, Barry was a bit of a wild guy there. He got his share of speeding tickets there, and Barry liked to hunt. He was into hunting and fishing. I was never into that much myself, but I mean, maybe the odd fishing trip, but I couldn't hold a gun, for God's sake. But Barry, yeah, he really was into that, and he had the money, he had the wherewithal. I mean, he was working on Bay Street there, and late 60s, and people were wearing furs, and that kind of thing was in the public eye, if you know what I mean. And it was still kind of okay to do that. And so Barry would go up north, north of Sioux area, and he had a nice big truck. Oh, I remember that red truck. One time he invited me along, and yeah, it just smelled of a new truck, and you were riding high, and we would get the fuel up, tank up, and the smelled good, and you had the food in the cooler, and oh, you were just a raring to go. And but yeah, he would go up there fairly regularly, at least once a year in the fall, and he'd do his hunting. And yeah, Barry, and then he got an itching, to go even further up there. And as he got a little bit more into his middle age, I guess he kind of felt he wanted to see things before it was too late. And so yeah, he started to venture a little further up there into the woods, and got himself up into Churchill and northern Manitoba, a little bit into Saskatchewan, and then he veered over. And in those days they didn't have a lot of roads to places, and I've never been up there myself, but and Barry's been gone now, gee whiz, I don't know, at least 12 years, and we used to keep in touch. And I think he's got a daughter there in Kingston. What's her name there? May. May is her name. Yeah, May. May Bell. That's her name. Yeah. And I seem to recall they gave her a middle name West, May West Bell. I always thought that was such a silly name. Anyhow, yeah. So he would go up there, go up north, and he got pretty obsessed with it. And I remember he spent I don't know, a good couple of months there in it's a town starts with a P. Is it Pickle Lake? No, that's not it. Pangnirtung. Pangner, way up there, That's where Barry went. The Pang, I think they call it. Pang, yeah. And he had his hunting gear, and I don't know what he caught up there. Oh, goodness gracious, it was like just so barren and isolated. I think he just went to get away from Toronto, kind of thing, if you know. But yeah, no, that's I was he was a good friend of mine, and he was the reason I got down to Hogtown there, and started increasing my sales. And then when I went back home, back up to northern Ontario, and I had more clients, and then I could sort of go from there. And I remember even having some customers in the Michigan side too. And of course, this was way before the internet, and so you had to literally make face-to-face contact, or at the very least on the telephone. So I spent a lot of time there on that phone, and a lot of cups of coffee, let me tell you that. But it was a good life for me. It's kept a roof over my head, and food in the fridge. Not much, but just the basics. And of course, Jane, the wife, the little lady. She went through food, man, like you wouldn't believe. I remember those grocery bills. She was into the whole recipe thing, and the Betty Crocker stuff. We had cookbooks coming out our ears there, and she was trying this and there was that, and every meal that Janie made, she needed a different pair of shoes to wear, and so she was buying shoes, and we were losing money left and right. It's a good thing we didn't have any kids. We did have a dog, though. What was that dog's name? Pesky. That was his name. Pesky. And boy, was he a pest. I should have called him Pesty. But anyhow, he was a good little mutt there. We just kind of, I think he was a stray, and we brought him in there. But yeah, those were decent years. Canada's been good to me. I can't complain. I don't live in a castle or anything, and I never been off. I've never been anywhere other than the USA, and but it's been a good life. It's been pretty good. What kinds of hobbies do you have there, Roland? What's that? Hobbies. Do you have hobbies? Things you like to do? Do you have a computer? Oh, right, a computer. No, I never had a computer, and I guess as those have been around now for quite a few years, yeah. I do like. I guess I'm just not good with my hands, kind of thing, and you gotta push a lot of buttons, and I just want instant, communication with people, kind of thing. And I don't want to be pushing buttons and clicking and pointing and this kind of thing. And it's privacy too. And I'm kind of a, I'm not as out there, as Barry. I don't go out in the woods to be alone for extended lengths of time. But I'm pretty careful with privacy, and I just don't know if I trust those computers. But I'll tell you. The telephone has been good to me. At my age, a lot of my friends are gone. Not too many left there. I told you about Barry. He's been gone. What would they say? 12 years. My neighbor there. He's a good chap, but he's a lot younger than me. So people my age, I haven't got many left. My best friends have long gone, and Jane, I don't keep in touch with her anymore. I don't have any kids. All my colleagues from work. I did used to go, ages ago, I remember I would go to the old tavern, and they, for a beer kind of thing on a Thursday night after work, and, they'd have the music pumping through, and sometimes you could catch the jukebox was free. They had a jukebox even pretty late, into the 70s, 80s, early 80s even. They had it there, and it was kind of sentimental reasons, I guess. That's gone. But I used to, enjoy picking out the odd song there, and they had some good country numbers that I used to like, and was a little Conway Twitty. He was a good, he had a good voice, nice set of chords, and George Jones, the old possum, as they say. And yeah, I liked that kind of stuff. But I also had kind of you might say a broad appreciation of music, broad appreciation. I used to like the Mantovani. That was some good stuff. That was classical music there, and Mantovani. So you would consider that classical? Well, yeah, there's strings, and then there was the Living Strings Ensemble. That was always pretty good. I had those records. I had the Christmas records, and never got into the Arnold Schoenberg, though. You know about Schoenberg. Yeah. I had those days when I used to go into Toronto to see Barry and to get more customers for the shoestrings. I remember hearing about a pianist there. What was his name? Glenn Gould. You mean Gould? Gould. Yeah, that's the guy. And that always stood out with me. I never heard the guy perform or anything in person. But I was there were some articles. I remember. I used to read Maclean's and the newspapers and stuff, and there'd be articles about him here and there. And I remember I heard about some. they played it on the radio. I forget what channel it was, but a little bit of some of this atonal music. They call it the 12-tone serial music, and but that just was not my cup of tea. But some pieces, I guess, were okay. The Berg Sonata. But beyond that, the classical music just never really clicked with me. I was always into the, as they say, Conway Twitty and Possum, and yeah, a little bit of Dolly Parton. That was some good stuff there. But hobbies, no, I don't really have. I mean, I got my radio here, and I love my radio. I got my TV. I don't get many channels, but I got my telephone, and I got the Cutlass in the driveway, and I got my memories. I got some old photo albums. Once in a while, I like to go out in the garage and tinker away. I got a couple of projects there that I'm working on. I've been thinking of painting the house, but I don't know, because I kind of got a bad back all those years of selling shoestrings. There's a lot of leaning down to put them in the shoes, so I kind of got to watch it. But there's a kid that, comes around. Oh, what's his name? Henry. That's a name you don't hear too much these days. I just find the names that they're giving kids these days. There's some real names that I've just never caught into. I never heard some of these names before. Colt and Buck and Sky and Hope and but what do I know? Not too many Rolands around here these days either. So that's about that's about it I got to share with you. It's nice that you are interested in my generation and the stories we got to tell, and I'm happy to talk to you anytime. All right? Thank you, Roland. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. And what'd you say your name was? Oh, my name is Penny. Oh, very good, Penny. All right. Well, we'll see you again then, eh? I'll get you a cup of coffee then. Yeah? Okay, Roland. That'll be nice. Thank you. And then I'll have to get going. Okay. There we go.